Today on our show,
Shazam gets an attitude adjustment.
What do applesauce and kidneys have in common?
And Andy's missing?
No, he's just not here. Today on Last in Line.
See, I told you we should have left earlier. Don't worry, we just missed the previews. But I like the previews, so watch it on your phone. Stop being a baby.
Tickets.
3, please.
You 3 together?
I mean, we're not together.
Theater 1 on your right.
Welcome to First Line.
Is that Dave? No, that's not Dave.
Shut and stop kicking the lights! We're trying to watch the movie!
Hey, welcome one and all to Last in Line, the show where we wildly speculate the matters that don't matter and completely ignore the ones that do. Alright, you guys, if you had been paying attention during our intro this week, you know that things are going to be running a little bit different tonight. Mama's out of town and she left the kids home alone to run the show unsupervised. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk about the guy that is here tonight, the man without whom there is no Last in Line. It's Mr. Nat Martin.
Oh,
hey, Nat.
Oh, thank you. No, that's such a title. I need a card with that title.
The man without whom there is no Last in Line.
Oh, that's a great prestigious title.
Alright, well, one of the things that we are going to be able to do tonight is we're going to talk a little bit about some movie news, things that are going on in Hollywood that happened these past couple of weeks that stuck with us that we really wanted to talk about. This is the Movie News Rundown.
It's the movie news rundown, and it seems to me, with all these movies coming out, there's too much to see. And we ain't giving you a list of our Oscar picks. We're just telling you which ones look like the best flicks.
This is the Movie News Rundown. Nat and I are big fans of The Purge. Nat and I love bad movies. This entire podcast was built off our love for bad movies. And I don't know if you're excited, but I'm excited for the fourth one. Just because I love this franchise.
I do love the franchise and stuff. And yeah, I like the third one, but to me, the second one's my favorite one.
The second one?
The second one is my favorite one.
Because it introduced Frank Grillo?
Yeah. I can't, when it came out and I first saw it, I told people, I love it because it might as well be in The Punisher in The Purge.
In The Purge, yeah.
Because he had the trench coat, he had the assault rifle.
And he was out for vengeance, and yeah.
Because his kid got murdered. Like, yeah. But the third one, it had a really nice story with the whole White House and politics and stuff, which even made me like, yeah, social commentary.
Yes. But I love the girl in it who's just like, give me my candy. The entire movie. She was like, did you really want candy that badly? And then you died. Like, oh, spoiler alert. She dies.
For the third. But
if you haven't seen it yet, that's really on you. Okay, so news broke we kind of have known this for a while. They've been talking a lot about and speculating whether or not The Purge 4 was going to be a prequel to the entire series, whether or not it was going to be its own thing, or whether it was going to continue the story. I wanted it to continue the story. Where did you stand with that?
Oh, I had so many different ideas. Well, for me, if I was going to do another Purge movie. But, I mean, it's one of those sweet franchises that you can do basically anything. Like, you can just, what they're doing right now, the plan is a prequel. They're going to go back.
Yeah, it takes us to Staten Island. So we're going to, so the whole thing with this is that it's going to be about the first Purge, the one that started the entire thing, and it's going back to Staten Island where it started. So it's exactly what we already knew.
Yeah.
Except now we're going to go back and see it happen. So, I mean, that's kind of cool, but I don't know. Like, I don't really want to go back. If we learned anything from Star Wars, it's that you don't go back and do prequels. You move forward.
Like I said, there's so many things. If I had to do one, I wish. Well, the one thing that bothers me about the franchises, it seems that us people in the movie universe and stuff, that we just want to kill. That's the one thing that we all want to do, is just to kill each other and stuff. And part of me is like, can't we just have a movie about like a college town, like during the Purge, basically rage, like just have a massive cool party where
they don't kill it.
Yeah, where they don't kill, but they're like, we're like, well, there's no cops. They're like, we can loot, we can like set things on fire, we can just party, and like that to me is funny. Like Purge,
you make the Purge a comedy,
yeah,
like a raunchy, sex-filled comedy.
Yeah, like a bunch of like underage drinking, and like we can do it. People high on ecstasy, and just like, yeah, we can do that and stuff. But
you just take it completely from what it's supposed to be, and you go, hey guys, we're going this other direction. We're U-turning.
People seem to love Project X, so let's just do that. But yeah, it seems like, well, us people, we just want to kill. It's like, not really.
Right, like, I mean, the entire movies are like, if you could get away with murder, would you kill someone? Like, yeah, we're a fucked up civilization. Absolutely would.
Get away scot-free? Okay.
Like, the first one was so different than than 2 and 3, because they did it for so dirt cheap.
Yeah.
And like went back and rewatched it. I don't know how I missed it or didn't put it together. But Cersei. Yeah. I didn't realize that was Cersei.
She's in the first
from
one.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was her, and then I went back and I was like, wait a second.
And that's the thing about like the first one, people didn't like, they hated about it. Like, you built this cool concept about you can do anything, for like so many hours, but let's just keep it in the house.
Let's just keep it in the house.
Just keep it in the house.
It's like, oh look, there's rich white kids out on your lawn. Like, you know what would have made that movie better? Like, I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. I did. I enjoyed The Purge. But the only thing that could have made it better is, the scenes where he's just looking through the peephole in his door and he's watching them just dancing around his yard being creepy.
Yeah.
As if out of nowhere, like a souped up lawnmower just started coming across the yard and just mowed down all these rich kids, and you just see body parts flying out like a Zamboni.
That would have been awesome.
That's the reason I'm not allowed to write movies.
Yep.
It would have been such a left turn. It would have been like, wait a second, is this a comedy?
No, but then it actually makes sense with the movie, because you're like, well, it is killing. Like, people are killing people and stuff.
It's like, when did he have time to build that lawnmower?
Maybe he was waiting, like Frank Grillo. He was waiting all year. He's like, well, when it comes time for the Purge, I'm going to use my lawnmower.
All right, let's go into let's go into our next one. Nat and I are big fans of The Crow, and this Crow reboot has been being tried. They've been trying to make this thing for years and years, and it just kept getting shot down. They kept burying the script. It wasn't getting made. And now it looks like the Crow reboot is finally finding new life with Sony. They are finally pushing it through, and it is back in development. Nat, how are you feeling about a reboot of The Crow? Do we want a reboot of The Crow?
Well, there was I don't know how long ago, there was actually talks of Bradley Cooper being the lead before he was cast as Rocket, because there was like kicking around the script of rebooting it.
Was there?
Yeah. Bradley Cooper was actually like, he was rumored. He wasn't actually cast, but he was rumored to be the guy. But then this was before he got like casted in Guardians, and then the script didn't really do anything. But I was gonna say, have you seen any of the sequels?
They're not good. They're not good.
No, they're not.
They're not good. What's so cool about the original Crow? I mean, it's not cool that Brandon Lee died.
No,
but like,
it's not.
What's cool is that they were able to digitally impose his face and finish the movie back then, when our technology back then was not what it is now. So the fact that they could finish the movie is great, and you can't tell when you watch it. You're not like, that's not Brandon Lee.
No.
I mean, it's a tragedy, like the fact that gun was loaded, but I mean, that movie is it holds up. All these years later, I can put The Crow on, and it totally holds up.
Oh, I mean, the look of it is really cool and stuff. How it just like looks so dark and gloomy and so depressing, and it's like, well, yeah, it's The Crow. Like
that was a Zack Snyder film before Zack Snyder started doing movies.
Plus, any movie that has Ernie Hudson in it already, like you get.
Oh yeah,
you already get one thumbs up. You get one thumbs up. You're like, okay. You have Ernie Hudson.
Back when they first announced it, Jason Momoa was attached to it. Do you think he's still going to be attached to it?
He's
or do you
still
think
attached. Well,
he's not. I don't know if he is anymore.
Well, it's still they have him on IMDb right now as the guy. And you know what?
Do you think he's still going to have time to do it with the whole DCEU? Like with Aquaman and Justice League and like just the integration that they're doing with all that? Do you think he's going to have time to be the Crow too? Because Sony wants to make this a franchise. They don't want to just do one Crow. Like the tentative title is Crow Reborn.
Yeah.
So like this is the first one. They want to do at least 2 more.
Well, I mean, the
dude's going to be busy.
He's in Justice League, and then I guess you have the standalone Aquaman movie, which
right.
I don't know the date on it. Right
December 2018.
Really, next year?
Yeah, it got moved. It was supposed to be May 2018. And then they pushed it to December.
I've not heard anything right now for Aquaman.
It's next Christmas.
I mean, well, right now they still have it as pre-production. So I mean, they have a script right now and they have a director, but as far as I know, they're still, they haven't cast the whole full. There's not a full cast. It's just Jason Momoa right now, which he's total badass.
Right, like, and if anyone was going to be the Crow, like, he resembles Brandon Lee.
Oh, so much.
Just in, like, not in the muscle tone, because he wasn't super crazy built, but, like, when I see his face, I'm like, hey, close.
Hey.
Pretty close.
Pretty damn close.
But I want a Crow that's going to be doing, like, kung fu. I don't want a Crow that's as big as Momoa who's just going to be, like, shoving guys over left and right.
I mean, to me, he's always had a body of, he's fit and lean. I never thought he was super buff. I know in Game of Thrones, in Conan also.
Yeah.
The movie, he was super buff, but I think he just did it for the movie.
He's huge as Aquaman.
I don't think he's that huge. I don't think so.
I think he looks like Khal Drogo with
a harpoon.
With the harpoon. He looks. You know how the Dothraki are afraid of water?
Yeah.
He looks like he was like, guys, hang on, look, I'll check this out, and then was fine.
But yeah, so far there's not really a lot. But I do know the director they have. He's like an indie horror, straight up indie horror director.
Oh, that could be good then.
So yeah. So you have a guy who he already knows how to set a tone with movies, especially if you're doing a movie about a guy who dies and literally resurrects and comes back.
Yeah. Well, and then who are the other guys who were attached to it at one point? Were Tom Hiddleston and Luke Evans, and I don't want Luke Evans anywhere near this movie. It's not that he's a bad actor. I don't want him anywhere near this movie because
he's too pretty faced.
Right. And I like The Crow. Like that movie holds a special place for me.
R.I.P. Brandon Lee.
Brandon Lee.
Brandon
Rat. You know what?
Sorry. I have Superman on my mind.
He can go next. That's fine. That's horrible. All right. Well, let's keep on moving, man. We want to talk about one more story here in the movie news rundown. Guy Ritchie's Aladdin reboot. Isn't that that's so strange to me? Like, I can't imagine Guy Ritchie doing a Disney film.
I mean, he is he's still a high profile director.
Right.
But yes, you're right. You would never suspect him to do an Aladdin movie.
What I want to see is a fight scene between Aladdin and Jafar that ends with Jafar uppercutting Aladdin and then
falling
backwards into water, and then the carpet flies in and catches him, just like in Snatch. Except the carpet will replace the water.
Yeah, I know.
Oh man, if you give me that, I'll buy Guy Ritchie doing this movie.
The one thing that I'm still scratching my head with is I know I didn't see the movie. I don't know if you did, but his King Arthur movie.
I didn't see it.
It was poorly received. It got bad reviews, and
it makes me wonder if it's going to be one of those movies that we love to hate, or that we're just really upset that we love it.
Well, I know
if it's bad, but in the best way.
Well, I hope so. That's what I'm looking for. I want to see it because I do like his movies and stuff. So I kind of want to see why do people hate this movie so much now?
Yeah,
but it is kind of
because that means I'll love it.
But as much as the cast of the movie, I know some people don't like Will Smith being the genie because we all grew up as loving Robin Williams doing the genie and all the weird voices he did with it. But maybe Will Smith. He is funny. Will Smith is still a funny guy.
Well, and I saw when you saw that picture that he tweeted out. He's a goofy looking bastard. I can see him playing the genie.
But I don't think it'll look like him, though. I think it'll just be like a...
They're going to put him in blueface.
You're talking about a movie with like probably a $200 million budget.
A $200 budget.
$200 budget.
Slap some paint on him. Get him up on the strings.
His two voices are like Will Smith and Slappy Will Smith.
I want to go and protest for a role, like a walk-on role for Carlton in this movie.
Oh. As a street rat.
As a street rat, doing the dance.
One street rat to another, just dancing.
Tom Jones on the soundtrack.
No, you know what has to happen though? Someone needs to get tossed from the palace, like Uncle Phil, like how he used to toss Jazzy Jeff out of the house. Like, get out, street rat!
Oh, I wish that he could be in this movie.
Oh, R.I.P. Uncle Phil. Oh, Shredder. No, I mean, it's got a nice cast. I know a lot of the cast are probably like, you know, up and coming actors. I know the girl, the Pink Ranger, the girl who played the
Naomi Scott.
Naomi Scott, she's Jasmine, and the guy who they got Aladdin.
I don't recognize any of the cast, which is cool because like it's cool that like Disney is so committed to being like, okay, well, this is a Middle East story, so we're gonna cast that.
Which I do amend them, because they did cast a lot of people who look Middle Eastern.
Well, I think they are Middle Eastern.
I don't think all of them have backgrounds. I think some of them look the part. Like Naomi Scott, I don't know.
But she's British and some kind of Indian.
She can pass for Middle Eastern. That's the point I'm making.
Yeah,
they look. It's not, you know, whitewashing.
Right, and like I liked her in Power Rangers.
She was good, yeah.
Like a lot of people were just like, it's Power Rangers, but we went and saw it, and you and I were sitting there like cheering the entire movie. We were like, yes. And it's not because it was a bad movie. No, kids. This was a great movie. Yeah.
I may have been under the influences of tall glasses of water.
Double fisting tall glasses of water.
Yep, double fist. But still, hey, I enjoyed it, whether with or without water.
I didn't want to get dehydrated in the theater.
You know, because I was so excited, so jumping and praising the movie.
But Will Smith tweeted out that picture of the cast, and they announced that filming started. When did it come out? September 6th. So filming started just a couple days ago. Yeah. So the movie's underway. I don't think it has a release date yet, but I mean, it's underway. Are you excited for this? Do you want to see this when it comes out?
I mean, I do love, sorry, I should rephrase it again. I did grow up loving the Aladdin movie. It was one of my favorite, and one of the best video games too. For the Sega.
Oh my!
That was such a great video game.
No, that and The Lion King, they made me so angry.
I know, those levels are so hard. But, you know, I grew up Aladdin fan. You know, I know I was a boy, and typically the love story in Aladdin, it's like, this is for girls, but
You see, I identified with it, though, because I, too, was a young street rat.
And your best mate was a monkey?
Yes. I did have a best friend named Apu. Oh. It reached me on levels that you could never understand, rich boy.
I know. See, I was growing up being the Sultan's son. Like,
you were living in the palace.
I know. I was
living outside the palace.
Oh, again, wait, are you saying I'm now Jasmine? I'm Jasmine.
No, you're Will Smith. I was DJ Jazzy Jeff. I was getting thrown out.
Street rat.
It all comes back.
It could be good. I mean, I know they're doing Lion King, and that already gained praise by the way it looks. And so, you know, you have a production of Disney, and I'm pretty sure they won't let their movies, you know, slip really bad, because I'm pretty sure they'll keep Guy Ritchie in line of like, it's got to look like this, it's got to look like this. So,
do you think Jason Statham is going to have a role? Because him and Guy Ritchie are like bosom buddies.
Hey, he can voice the crow. No, not the crow.
The crow. The parrot.
The parrot.
Diago.
Diago, yes. He can voice him and do his British, like...
his gravel. Yeah, like, I really enjoyed The Jungle Book. Like, I remember when that came out, the reboot, the live-action version, I went to see it, and then I came back and I was talking to you. I was like, dude, this is one of my favorite movies of 2016. So, I mean, I really enjoyed that. Pete's Dragon, I didn't give a shit about the original.
No.
It was, I mean, everyone who came out later who was like, they're ruining it. Don't pretend nobody's a fan of Pete's Dragon. The original was garbage. So everyone who's coming out going, no, I love this movie. No, you don't. You're full of shit. So, like, but I loved the remake. The live
remake
action was
cute.
so good.
It's super cute.
That was right up there, like in my top 10 from 2016. It was right up there with Jungle Book. So I liked what they're doing. I like what's been coming out.
Yeah.
So I am excited. Like I'm curious to see what they do with Aladdin, and I'm not like sitting here going, oh, they better not ruin it, because their track record is for them right now.
Yeah, and like I said, you have a really good high production, so I'm pretty sure that the special effects are going to be really good.
Yeah, I think that's it. That's it for movie news. We're going to take apart one of our favorite movies. With Andy not being here, this is the perfect time for us to put Punisher Warzone underneath the movie scope. Nat, hit the music.
I'm gonna get my applesauce back. Did you know kidneys and applesauce are a delicacy in Sweden? Did you know that? Yes. Yummy, yummy, yummy in my tummy, tummy, tummy.
Alright guys, this is Under the Movie Scope. Nat and I want to talk a little bit about Punisher Warzone. I don't believe Andy's seen it, and we were thinking about doing this for a Kevin and Nat Ruins Movies, but this is the perfect opportunity for us to examine it way deeper, because Nat loves this movie. I have a love-hate relationship with this movie, but we're going to get into it. Nat, Punisher Warzone, what do you feel? Tell me what you think about this movie. Let's take it from the top.
Well, I know it was one of the original movies that we had it slate to ruin for Andy, but we felt like there was so much to talk about the movie. There's some, we could not give it justice by just running through the movie real quick, because we have to talk about the crazy amount of violence, the crazy amount of the loony characters they have, in a good way.
Yeah.
Because, I know a lot of people, including, I'm putting you on this list, love the Tom Jane version.
I'm not ashamed of that. I love the Tom Jane Punisher. And it was so good.
Oh, come on.
No.
Oh.
It was the vengeance story, but it had depth. It made it real. It made it gritty. It wasn't over-the-top, ridiculous, laughable violence. It was a real story of a man scorned. I loved that. I don't want to hear it.
The story is super weak. The villain is weak. That's what makes it,
John Travolta?
Yes, because he didn't react.
John Travolta wasn't the real villain in that movie. He was a puppet. He was being controlled by Xenu. Scientology was the real villain of that movie.
Oh my goodness, this movie took a dark turn. I will say this before we go into more depth. We can both agree on this. The best version of the Punisher is John Bernthal from Daredevil. And the series, but we're not talking about the series.
You can say we agree, but I still love Tom Jane.
He's the best version, but in movie form, Ray Stevenson is the best version, because not only does he look the part, you look at him and you're like, that's Frank Castle. He was literally ripped from the comics, because that's the thing. People who hate on this movie, just know it's a guy who goes around killing people, and he's got a skull painted on him, and he's got a bunch of guns, and it's no, you have to read the comics. It is super violent. It's super silly. And that's what the movie, it's a faithful adaptation. And that's the thing with the Tom Jane. They try to make it dramatic.
Yeah, because they wanted to reach the general movie-going audience. This movie was so niche. It was just like, hey, if you read the comics, you're gonna love this. But not even all the comics. If you read the Max comics, you're gonna love this.
And that's why I loved it, because they were like, yes, this is my movie.
And I did. I hated it the first time I watched it, but now I love it. But still, I love it for different reasons. I love Tom Jane's Punisher, and I love this Punisher for very different reasons.
Nothing against Tom Jane.
This was so ridiculous, over the top. It was a bad movie, but in the best way.
Which, that's what you read those comic books. You read his comic books, they're not really that great, neither. Like those Max, the Max editions, they're not really that great. Like the stories aren't written, they're not profoundly written. It's just, real violent. And they do have like silly characters, like, as we see in this movie, they put Jigsaw.
Yes.
Which to me is like, yes, finally we get Jigsaw. And we have your favorite character, Micro, played by...
Oh, the man. Wayne Knight.
Wayne Knight.
Oh.
Newman.
I wish there would have been one scene in this movie where Micro said something and Ray Stevenson would have just looked at him and went, Micro. Like a total Seinfeld moment. If they had a Seinfeld Easter egg, I would put this movie above the Tom Jane Punisher. That's what it would have taken. But Wayne Knight... Oh, man. R.I.P. Wayne Knight.
What? He's not dead.
I'm sorry. R.I.P. Micro.
Yeah, in the movie.
Thank God Wayne Knight's not dead. If Wayne Knight was dead, I would be in tears now.
We need him for the sequel to Space Jam.
Oh, my God. We'll talk about that with Andy.
Yeah.
I know Andy is very excited because he is a LeBron James fanatic.
So much.
He's been singing for years, and he's been talking to us about how LeBron James is probably like an Oscar-worthy actor. We just haven't seen it. We haven't seen it.
We got to knock him off his high horse. Well, we'll get to that next episode. But still,
Warzone. Yo, can we talk about how this movie starts? Like, right out of the gate, this movie looks like a comic book.
Yeah,
and I love that. Also, before we even dive in, can we talk about Lexi Alexander?
This is why I really like it more, because, now we're at the age, or we're at the point right now in cinema where we're praising women. We're praising, Patty Jenkins, how great she did with Wonder Woman as, making a comic book. There was a time where, we had, you can go back to cinema history of, like, great women directors.
Right.
We have, Patty Jenkins. We have Alexi Alexander, who did Punisher Warzone. I'm blanking on her name right now.
Catherine Bigelow. She did,
The Hurt Locker, Zero Dark 30, Point Break, the Patrick Swayze version, not the remake.
There's only one Point Break, and every time we bring up Point Break, I hope you better acknowledge there is a Point Break.
I'll rephrase that.
And the other one doesn't exist.
She made Point Break.
She made the Point Break.
But you have Alexis Alexander, who turned out did not hold any punches. She went balls out with the violence. Yeah, and she does explain why she went balls out, not only because it's in the comic book, but she said if she decided to keep it real, she would have helped and contribute more with people or fanatics who take the message of Punisher of like, oh, I'm just going to be a vigilante and just start shooting people. She decided to go over the top because she didn't want to contribute to that growing problem of, I'm just going to take matters in my own hand. And I know the character was made in the 70s and the character's still running and I still love him in Daredevil. Yeah. I mean, so. And
that's the thing. She went so over the top, and there were reviews when this movie came out where people were like, she should be ashamed of herself. She's disgusting. No, I mean, it moves along so quick.
Yeah.
There's not one scene where they just linger on the gore. It's not the Saw franchise. You know what I mean? Like, the Saw franchise is violent pornography. That's what it is.
It is, yeah.
And they linger on it. They want you to feel sick to your stomach. This movie goes so quick over it. It's like, oh, that guy's head got cut off. Oh, that guy got shot in the brains. Like, it's so quick. It's for the story. And it's just one beat after another. It never, ever lingers on it. And so I think that's what gets overlooked. And it's such ridiculous violence. It's not the kind of like, it's not the kind of death and destruction that you would see and be like, oh, that's gross, that's real. It's so over the top. Like, we'll talk about it in a few minutes, the guy who gets punched through the face.
Oh, I know. Shit. And then you have, not talking about, you have people's face literally blown off by shotguns and people going through a grinding machine, people, decapitated. And neither is the comics.
And this was the first, like, she directed this and got no praise. Nobody cared. No one said anything. And
it's a shame because she deserves praise for this movie.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we would look back now and be like, oh, you know what? Someone did do it first.
Yeah.
She should get credit.
She should. And like I said,
especially because she lived and breathed those comics for months while they shot this. And so, like, that's impressive.
Yeah, and that's why, I praise her because she's not one of those directors who just took the concept. She went deep into it and said, let's try to make it faithful adaptation. That's why I keep telling people, if you really like the comics, you'll like this one.
Yeah.
But yeah,
but, I mean, like, the color palette of this movie, like, when you watch it, I mean, it looks like a comic book. It is so vivid, and it's not what you would expect for something so dark of a character. You would expect this movie to look like Zack Snyder shot it. Borderline black. Like, so dark, you can't tell if you're watching something or if the TV's off. It's so vivid. Like, she nailed that.
It's funny that you say that because reading up on the movie and the trivia, it does say that at one point Thomas Jane read the script because they wanted Thomas Jane at first, and he was like, his quote was, "It looks too comic booky." And it's like because he wanted to keep it still, like his movie, like
gritty and realistic. Yeah,
but yeah, it's too comic booky.
And the first script that was written by Kurt Sutter from Sons of Anarchy, I would love to have seen that script.
I could imagine would have been like if
it would have been super grounded.
Yeah, it would,
which I would love.
But it would have been too depressing though, and that's the thing. Like his character is grounded in depression of like he's avenging his like family's death, but overall it's a guy basically cleaning out crime one bullet at a time.
Well, and it's funny too, like how many people thought this movie was a direct sequel to the other Punisher and not not a soft reboot.
That's why you have that great intro where he literally kills all those people on the dinner table.
Yeah. Oh,
and it's like, God. Well, I'm not this ain't your mama's Punisher.
Immediately the lights. Okay, so the lights go down.
Yes.
All of a sudden, 2 road flares get lit.
Yeah.
And now the scene is red. It's glowing red. Ray Stevenson walks across the table, and like nobody's dead yet. No. They're just sitting there, and this man stomps across the table, and nobody does anything.
Well, because it's shocked. They're like,
and then it cuts to his hand. You cut to his knife. All of a sudden, it cuts back to him, and he cuts off the guy's head, and it just easily flops over. Then that old lady reaches for a gun, and he snaps her neck.
And then
it's so over the top.
And then throws a knife at the other guy.
Right? Yeah, like just across the table.
And then it just becomes one big massive gunfight.
Yeah, and then he like hangs from the chandelier, and he spins in a circle.
360.
And just shoots. And that's a scene that is straight out of the comic book.
Yeah.
Which is cool that Lexi took those comics and she was like, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And she just picked scenes and she was like, we're putting this in the movie. And I think that's why people didn't like it, because they thought that they were just like, that's not realistic. Well, no, they took it out of the books. We don't read comics because they're realistic.
Like the one scene, I know we're going to be jumping all over the place, but the one scene where he throws the guy off the roof and he gets impaled.
Oh, yeah, on the fence.
By the fence. And then how Frank Castle jumps down literally on his neck, like he breaks his neck. That whole sequence is in the comics.
Yeah.
He literally throws a guy, gets impaled, and then jumps off and then literally like stomps on his neck. Like that, she took it straight from the comics.
I wrote down the introduction of Jigsaw because as I was watching this, I had to take a note because I was just like, we gotta talk about this.
Oh.
Like immediately when they introduce us to Billy the Beaut, before he's Jigsaw, the moment they introduce us to him, we're like, oh, he's evil. We know he's a bad dude. Because the moment they introduce us to him, he's looking in the mirror, fixing his hair like a douchebag, and the girl he's with tries to help him, and he immediately whips around and grabs her by the throat and slams her into the car, and he goes, do I fix your makeup for you? I was like, whoa! no!
Oh, I thought you were talking about when they go back to the hideout and with his Brooklyn accent going, why'd you trade the money from the strip club?
Yeah.
Boss, I had to do it because we got to clean it. We'll do it this time.
Well, there's that too, but the first introduction to him, he's like, don't touch me. Whoa, man. Like, he's immediately, you're like, okay.
He's a scumbag.
This is the bad guy for the movie. Like, you just know.
But yes, the introduction into Jigsaw.
And even the edits in this movie, I know we're jumping around a lot. Even the edits in this movie, we talked about that a little bit a couple days ago when we decided to do this. They make it look like a comic book, but not in the same way that Ang Lee made with the panels.
I know.
It's not like that. Like, the quick cuts to, like, the hands, to the gun, to the knife, it would look like panels straight out of the books, but taken and done for cinema. Like,
yeah, and it's a choice. It's a choice she did.
It was so well done.
And I know a lot of people will say, well, this movie doesn't really have a story. It's just, an hour 43 minutes of just violence. But it does have a story. The story is that he accidentally kills someone who he thinks is a bad guy, but turns out he's an undercover cop.
Yeah.
And he kind of feels bad.
Because he left the wife a widow.
Yeah.
And their daughter is now fatherless.
Which, at the time, I think, what was it? Yeah, Dexter. Dexter kind of did that storyline with when he kills Miguel's brother. And he's like, well, I kill these people because they're criminals. I know I killed them.
Did Julie Benz die in Dexter before she filmed Warzone? Or was she still doing Dexter?
I think she died before the movie. Spoiler alert for Dexter.
No, you know what? If you haven't watched Dexter,
I know.
At
Shame
this
on
point,
you.
That's on you.
Shame on you. Shame. We should play the shame. But yeah, if you have not seen Dexter, shame. But yeah, I think she did. I think
she was already gone.
After, yeah, she was already gone and moving. Oh, I do believe this was after. Also, what was that show you liked? The ABC superhero family?
No Ordinary Family.
Yeah.
Criminal. It's criminal that didn't get a second season. Oh, the chick, man. Michael Chiklis.
But this movie, it does have a story. Like, he does feel bad, and he's trying to trying to right his wrongs.
Yeah.
And then you have
and they humanize him a little bit, which is cool. That he's not just crazy. You know what I mean?
Killing machines and stuff. Yeah.
Can we tell, I know we're jumping back and forth, but let's talk a little bit about before he becomes what makes him become Jigsaw. That scene in the factory.
Oh.
Billy the Butte comes out of this room he's in where they're talking about their plans to make him number one in the gun trade, right?
Yeah, the gun trade.
And he comes out of this room, sees the Punisher. They start fighting a little bit. He takes off running. He leans against, there's no fight. He leans against a railing and it falls. The railing breaks and he falls backwards into a bunch of broken glass, into the machine that crushes the glass.
Yep.
And he falls in, and that's it. Now he's mad, and he's yelling the entire time, "Fuck you, Castle!"
And then all Frank Castle does is starts the machine and literally spins him around through broken glass, just shredding through his face and body.
And the entire time, what's set up at the beginning of the movie, when you knew he was a really bad dude, when he choked that girl, he continues, you're just like, man, this guy's really angry. He's dying. He's being cut up. That would be such a painful way to go. And the entire time, he's not going, please stop, please help me, please turn the machine on. He's still going, fuck you, Castle! He's the entire time. He's just he's so mad, he's so angry.
And I do love it after how the scene ends, because the cops come.
We got a live one.
And then the one cop was, if I'm trying to remember the quote, he ain't the brute no more. Or he ain't the beauty no more. It's come on, the guy got shredded through, he went through a machine through glass and his face all cut up. We're not gonna cut jokes around his wounded body, well, he ain't good looking no more. So Jigsaw, he's got his main henchmen were already killed by a Castle. So his plan is to basically put a bounty on Punisher, and he recruits a bunch of gangbangers, with you have the Asian gang with bazookas and AK-47. You have a Latino gang. You have an all-black gang. Like, he basically gets, like, all gang members.
He gets all these 3 gangs, and there's a building that happens to have 4 floors, which works out perfect. So one gang takes the first floor.
Yep.
The other gang takes the second floor, and so on. And Jigsaw is up at the top.
And it works just like a video game.
And Punisher comes in, and he just annihilates floor by floor by floor. And there's that scene where the grenade is in the bucket. That is one of my favorite scenes in this entire movie. He gets up to the floor where it's the Irish gang.
Yes.
The Irish gang is on this floor, and he's taking them all out. There's one of them in a room. Frank Castle puts a grenade in a bucket, and then he kicks the bucket into the room. The grenade falls out of the bucket, and the henchman just kind of like, the gang member stops, and he just looks at the camera, and then he looks up like, oh, crap.
Oy vey.
Yeah, like, he's just like, oh, the day I'm having. And then he blows up. Like, it could not have been, if they told him, okay, react how you would react in person if you were having a bad day. And that was his only motivation for his character, and he just went, ugh. He rolls his eyes as if he's going, this is the end of me. Like, he's so depressed. It's the only way that scene could have been better is if Brad Garrett had been cast. Like, if Brad Garrett had just a throwaway cameo, and it was him, and he was just like, oh. He blows up. The last thing that I'll say about this movie before we look into some of these reviews is it's an hour and 42-minute movie, and Ray Stevenson has maybe 20 minutes of dialogue in the entire movie. His first word isn't spoken until 25 minutes into this movie. It's a shoot 'em up film. That is the entire movie.
Yeah.
So go see Punisher Warzone. I mean, I would recommend it. It's
strong-heartedly.
It's a 2008 film. You can get it anywhere. I would recommend it. Nat, you would recommend it?
I do. Yeah, I recommend it. People should watch it at least once.
At least once. Now, Nat and I have a very straightforward opinion, but Nat and I also, we like to look at reviews of other people.
Yes.
We found a couple reviews on Amazon and IMDb that we want to talk about. Nat hasn't heard any of these reviews. I've been saving these so that you could hear Nat's genuine reaction to these. Fun revenge flick. For those of us who like such a venue, nice graphics of violence and adequate production values. Watchable. 5 stars. So, he doesn't have a very strong, it doesn't take much to give him 5 stars. Is it watchable? 5 stars.
I will say, those 2 reviews you got, where were they from?
Those are from Amazon.
Okay, because I have one that I really like from iTunes review.
Okay.
There's a couple 5 stars, but the best 5-star I thought was too hilarious was written by a guy named, it's HMMM, so but his thing is, this is his quote, and I know it's a bit long, but I'm going to try to go. Buy it. 5 stars.
That's good. Wait, this is a little better. Ready? Okay. Good for watching while on the treadmill. 5 stars. January 25th, 2016.
Ooh.
Good for watching while on the treadmill.
Good to know.
5 stars.
Hey, you like working out? There you go. 5 stars.
So those are some people who agreed with Nat and I that this movie is watchable. 5 stars.
I know. There's not a lot of 5 stars.
Now, we also like to check out people who disagree with our opinion, because Nat and I are nothing if not unbiased. So let's check out some 1-star reviews. This one is by an Amazon customer from November 24th, 2014. Dude, what the fuck? Spinning on a chandelier and mowing down an entire room without getting touched? 1 star. That's the entire review. Sorry, must have been too unrealistic for him. 1 star. This is by a Popcorn Loves Movies reviewer on IMDb.
So, inanimate.
I Want to Cry is the title of this review. Oh, the humanity. How does this piece of monkey butt get released? Very bad directing and acting job here. Very sad day for film industry. Very sad day for grammar.
This movie broke the camel's back.
This is what did him in. He continues, the story is so cliche and very far from believable. I think the producer has really found a way to insult our intelligence while taking our money at the same time.
I think his review ruined my intelligence, or find my intelligence.
There you go. To top it off, the humor was awkward. It's just a bad piece of movie from the get-go. I find myself rooting for the bad guy since he's at least entertaining. Overall, just a very awkward B-rated movie. Don't buy this movie. Don't rent it. I would advise to not be in the same vicinity as this movie. Maybe buy it as a gift for your worst enemy. It might kill him. 1 star.
Again, I want to go back to my 5-star review by
buy it. Alright. Let's move on. We still gotta do the Geek Lounge, so let's take a trip down there.
Welcome to the Geek Lounge, where nerd is the word and the word is good. So adjust your glasses, puff on your inhaler, and make yourself at home in the Geek Lounge. Yeah.
Billy Batson and his mentor travel the highways and byways of the land on a never-ending mission to right wrongs, to develop understanding, and to seek justice for all. In time of dire need, young Billy has been granted the power by the immortals to summon awesome forces at the utterance of a single word. Shazam! Which transforms him in a flash into the mightiest of mortal beings.
And his name is John Cena!
That's right, kids. You heard it. John Cena. At least he's in the running to play Shazam.
Well, that's the Warner Brothers one.
That's the rumor. That's the rumor.
Okay.
If I'm being honest, I don't love it.
It's fine.
Nat, wait, you would see this movie? You're a John Cena fan. Like,
yes, I am.
You are a WWE subscriber.
Yes, I am.
So maybe to you, like, it's not. To me, I'm just like, God, man, this guy struggles to do comedy. Like, his little cameos in like Trainwreck and Daddy's Home
are funny.
They're funny, but I can't see him being Shazam. I can't see it.
Why? Oh,
because
he looks the part.
Because when I think of John Cena like carrying a movie, I think of 12 Rounds, and I think of The Marine.
Yes, those movies, they weren't, they're not Oscar quality, movies, but...
Oh, they're not?
They're not. I'm sorry. Not in everyone's book. But I will say this. Those movies were made almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was the start of his acting career, per se. So he's already had some titles under his belt. His literally heavyweight belt.
Under his champ belt.
His spinning champ belt. But still, he's probably getting better. Like I told you, the movie he did with Doug Lineman, about the wall. It's two sniper Marines played by Aaron Taylor, the guy from Kick-Ass.
When you sent that text and you were like, he's pretty good in the wall, I was like, was he in that Matt Damon movie?
Oh, no, that's the Great Wall.
I thought Matt Damon was the only white guy in that movie.
Yo, he is. He is the only white guy in that movie. His partner's Elion Martel. No, but that movie, it's a kind of like it's an indie movie, but he's really good in it. But the point I'm trying to make is he is getting better. Now, depending on how they do the movie, he'll probably be maybe not too, like 80%. He'll probably be in the movie like maybe 50% of the movie. Because it is about Billy Bats.
But I would imagine that it would focus more on Shazam than it would Billy Batson. You know what I mean? Because he's a funny character.
But the story is Billy Bats, though, because depending how they do it, if they get a skinny teen or a guy who's he's very weak and stuff, it could be about him trying, getting the powers and then becoming John Cena.
Like I can't see John Cena lending any credibility to this movie. Like I just can't.
I remind you who's playing Black Adam, The Rock.
Yeah,
So
and we talked about this.
We can have a movie where it's John Cena versus The Rock, which it would be the third time because they already wrestled twice.
Exactly, we don't need it a third time.
Yes, because it was a tie. The Rock won the first one.
Oh
then
my
John
God,
Cena.
the movie would end in a tie.
No, it would not.
Yes, it would.
It would not.
It's in their contract. It's like Vin Diesel.
One of them. But I understand why Warner Brothers would want John Cena. You know, he's a guy that's lovable by kids. He holds the record as the most requested celebrity for Make-A-Wish, and he holds the record for doing so much. So little kids love him.
Well, that's because Peter Boyle's not alive anymore.
What? Who's calling for Peter Boyle?
Oh, if I was a Make-A-Wish kid, I would want to meet Peter Boyle.
Really? You're not going Raymond? You're going straight to
I'm going straight to Peter Boyle.
Straight to Peter.
And I would want him to be just as cranky in real life as he was on the show. I would want him to just sit by my bed in the hospital with his hand down his pants holding the remote.
No.
And just bitching all day.
On TV like, I like the show.
Yes.
It's terrible.
I'm sorry. I don't think that has anything to do with...
Yes, it does. Because he's lovable. That's the thing. Like, you know...
Yeah, but those DC movies are in such a disarray right now. Like, Wonder Woman is the only one that people universally loved.
Because it was done really good.
Right.
Stuff.
No, I don't think that they're going to want to come off of that and then gamble being torn apart by critics because we should not have cast the John Cena.
Need I remind you that there's already a Suicide Squad sequel in the works. They're working on a sequel.
Because it made money.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what critics say, it made money.
Shazam's gonna make money.
Well, it's gonna make money, but like I don't think that they're gonna want the critics to be like shitting all over it.
This is my point that we're making, and it goes directly to the other story that we're going to do with the two Joker movies. You know, one movie being produced by Martin Scorsese, about the origins, and possibly, they're trying to court Leo to be the Joker in that one.
And here's the thing: I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all.
Yeah, I don't either.
Because Leo is a fantastic actor.
He is.
And you put him in that, and it's going to be great. Well, he's going to be great. I don't know if the script will be great, but...
No, if he plays the way he did in Django Unchained, like Candy...
I never watched it because I hate Jamie Foxx.
Really?
I'm absolutely... Yeah.
Says the man who saw Stealth.
I didn't see Stealth.
I thought you did.
No. I have not seen Stealth. I have not seen Stealth.
How? No, I remember you seeing Stealth.
I almost turned off Horrible Bosses the first time because I was like, Jamie Foxx is in this? No.
You telling me you've never seen Held Up?
No.
You've seen Amazing Spider-Man too.
Unfortunately.
There you go. There's the Jamie Foxx movie. But still, you have two Joker movies being made. One, being Martin Scorsese trying to do the Joker origin story with Leo, and then the other with Jared Leto doing Mad Love. Possibly. That's what they're doing with
I mean, he's so... What was that? There's a story that just came out, and he's so confused by the entire thing. He had no idea that they were talking about doing this. I mean, it's nuts. DC is just throwing stuff left and right. And it's cool. Like, I can get behind the idea of doing Elseworld stories. Like, Marvel's never going to do a movie that is not connected to the MCU. They'll do movies that aren't connected in the sense that, like, Fox will do Marvel movies. But DC is all Warner Brothers. So the fact that they're willing to branch out and be like, hey, we're going to do this story. It's not connected. It's a standalone. We're just going to go for it. Like, I think that's brave. That is gutsy, especially with all the shit that they're getting right now for their cinematic universe they're trying to build.
That's true and stuff, but I mean, it could be good.
But at the same time, I'm cool if they want to do that for like Gotham by Gaslight. That could be rad. Red Sun would be amazing.
That would be a great, amazing throwaway. But
I don't want to see a Joker origin because what makes the Joker so scary is he has no origin. Killing Joke gave him kind of a backstory.
Yeah,
but that's its totally own thing. Like that's not tied into the rest of those.
But it's different. Yeah, it's its own different story.
So like that's what makes him scary. The dude has no set origin. So doing this origin movie, I feel like takes away the mystery, and the mystery is what makes you shiver when you see him.
And then everyone knows, you know, can't have a great Joker movie without Batman. You need Batman in it.
Right, like, what is this going to be about?
It's, like, you're not going to have, like, a 2-hour movie of Joker running around killing people and no Batman.
It's going to be like that movie Public Enemies.
Oh, I hope not. I really like that movie, but I hope not. There's so many things that they could do. You know, I don't know why you have to do Joker. You don't really need an origin movie for a Joker.
No.
Work on a Batman movie.
You give me an origin movie about how he ended up with those stupid tattoos.
Oh, well, I can tell you because they probably wrote that Joker to be, you know, this Joker went to prison, so he probably joined a prison gang, and that's
this Joker works at Hot Topic,
and he's got damage tattoo on his forehead.
He's so on the nose. All right. Well, with all that being said, I think that's it for us. I think we've covered everything that we wanted to talk about tonight. I don't think we have anything left to talk about. Join us next week. Andy's going to be back. We're going to play another game of taglines. Nat and I are going to ruin a movie for Andy. Nat and I love to ruin movies for that guy.
So much.
We will take any suggestion to ruin anything. All right, Nat, where can they find you at?
At Nat_Martin 24 on Twitter, 26 on Instagram.
And I'm Kevin on Instagram. You can find me there. For Andy, you can find him at Andy's Alter Ego on Twitter and Instagram. And again, he will be back next week. We'll see you guys then.
Bye.